All right, this is an overview video of how Amazon works from A to Z. We're not going to go in depth into anything in particular. However, I'm going to just get you that mental framework so that you know from the start to the end essentially what all is involved. So, essentially, the way that we've talked about is that Amazon is where people go for products, okay, as we've talked about in the opportunity. And e-commerce is this mega trend. It's growing more and more each year. As of right now, it's about 13% of all retail sales, and it's going to continue to grow over time. So essentially, the way that this works is where's this big opportunity on Amazon? So if you're not familiar with it yet, Amazon actually doesn't sell most of the products. So 55% of all sales on Amazon, roughly, it's growing more and more each year, is by third-party sellers. So if we were to go to Amazon here and actually take a look at these Bose headphones, which are my absolute favorite headphones, you'll see that it says right here, ships from and sold by Amazon.com. So this would be Amazon and their 45% with the Bose headphones, okay? And all the other products. Essentially what Amazon is doing is what most other retail stores do. They're just buying from the brand and they buy directly and then they sell it on Amazon. Okay, so that's 45% of sales. However, 55% is third-party sellers. Now let me show you an example of that. So if we go ahead and we look up just not Bose headphones, but Bluetooth headphones, and we start to look at this, for example, we could look at this, Geohoofoof. Not exactly sure how to say this brand, but you can see here's the name of the brand. So this Geohoofoo or whatever brand is what we consider private label, okay? So what does that mean exactly? Now, this is just essentially somebody making their own brand. Now, anybody can make their own brand, and they've always been able to, but the big opportunity now is that anybody can make a brand, and instead of having to fight to get into those retail stores, we can get there. Just a quick recap, Amazon sales are growing more and more every year. And now of that, the percentage sold by third-party sellers is growing more and more every single year. All right? So this is just a massive opportunity, and it makes sense because Amazon can only buy and sell and make partnerships with so many brands, and it's going to be, and already is, the search engine. It's the Google of products. All right, now we're going to talk about Amazon versus retail. This is where the big difference comes from. In the past, when you're in a retail store, you've got this, and essentially you have a lot of mini stores within a store. Okay, so let's say there's a big retailer such as Walmart. They have different sections, okay? And I almost view this as separate stores within the store. So let's say this were the electronics. Okay, so within the electronics, now if this were to be the electronics section right here, there's different sections, okay? So they'll have the headphones, they'll have the video games, and they'll have all the other sections. But let's say Walmart is going to sell headphones. Well, what are they going to sell? They need to find products that are going to sell to the masses. So Walmart is going to stock a certain amount of headphones. They have a limited amount of retail space. And so because of this, and they have all these stores, they have to provide the ones that sell the most. So they're selling the ones that sell the most, and that is pretty much it. Now, let's say you're the sourcing agent for Walmart, and I've seen these people, and when I've been in China, they're sitting there and saying, well, what are, not specifically for headphones, but other markets, they're saying, which headphones do we stock? We have the opportunity to stock 10 different types of headphones, let's say. This is obviously just an arbitrary example. So now Walmart has to choose the 10 best headphones that in the world. So they have to meet certain criteria, such as a certain amount of profit, a certain amount of sales, and they have to be the best for their customers. And since they can only choose 10, now they have to kind of say, well, for the kids, we think that this will be the best one based off of profit and sales and the price point. And then, we have these certain market segmentations. And for those, what are they going to like the best? So maybe they choose 10. So they have to make their markets the happiest. So maybe they're like, let's go for the kids, let's go for adults, for males, maybe adult female, and then maybe they're going to want to go for, the best for workout. We have a special deal with Apple, so we have to sell theirs regardless, and there's high volume, so of course they're going to have the apples. Now, let's say this. So you go to a Walmart store, okay? They got a little smokestack on top. So you go to the Walmart store, and you ask the guy, what are the best headphones for working out? Okay? And he's going to look at one of his 10, and he'll say, well, we have this one type of workout headphones, and we have these 5 colors. So that's essentially the way that it works. Now, here is the big difference on Amazon. So this is the way that Amazon works differently. You go from, you have an idea in your head or a need, and essentially we translate this into a word that we think would best describe what we're looking for. And then from these words, then we go to see what the product opportunities are. So the way it works with Walmart, you have an idea or a need, you go to Walmart and you give them words of kind of describing what you're envisioning in your head and what you need. Okay, and they look at 1 out of 10 and they say, well, this is all we got, so that one is the best for you. Not the same way on Amazon. So Amazon, as we said up here, has an unlimited amount of products. So how does Amazon solve the problem of what to show you when you look up words? Well, it says, okay, well, you've typed in the best headphones for workout. So people look up best headphones for workout, and Amazon has to solve this problem. And essentially, Amazon says, what are the best selling items when people look up best headphones for workout? That's as simple as it is. Okay? And then now it says, well, based on this, we found that Jahingfu, or whatever their name was, should be on the first page, because when people look that up, it shows that they want these Jahingfus and they don't want the Bose. Now, what else sells well? And essentially, it just ranks it by the best. Essentially, Amazon just says, what are the best selling products for when people type in those words? So it's essentially a product recommendation for ideas. We translate those into words, and then they will show us what's the best selling. And that's the way that Amazon works is. And here's the thing. We all have ideas in our head, and then we use words to describe it and try to get the best ones. And there's so many phrases, and there's so many ideas of products. And here's the thing. So here's where the opportunity exists. So while there is 10,000 desired products on Amazon, in people's heads, the world has only been creating 300 choices or so. These are arbitrary numbers, but this is the general concept that people want different variations, but what was sold was only what sold best. And now we're able to go to the same manufacturers who are already building these 300, but we're just saying, hey, we wanted a different color and to add one feature. And they're able to easily do that because they already have all of the manufacturing equipment, and they know they can just add a part, or add an accessory, or add a feature, or change things a little bit. It very simply, because they already have the process there. We will then buy and make these products based off of our demand, which I will explain how you choose what are good and bad markets to go into. I would not go into Bluetooth headphones, but this is the general process that I want everybody to understand here. Essentially, what we're trying to do in general here is this fact that demand is much greater than supply when it comes to the choices and the variations. And this is the model that I believe is the absolute best. Now, you'll see later how most people preach of it, and you'll see a lot of mixed results of success and failures because people aren't teaching the model right in a long-term business, in a long-term sustainable model that actually makes business sense. So the way it used to be on Amazon was there's about 10,000 desired variations of headphones or whatnot, or different ideas in people's heads, and there was about 50 choices on Amazon. Okay, so it was very easy to get to the top, and then anybody could just go and copy a product, and as long as you got one variation or something, it wasn't even on Amazon, or there was only one other person there, so you could just it was just a rush to getting products on Amazon. That game is over now, but here is the big opportunity and the way to actually build a business that's successful. It's not an Amazon arbitrage, it's going after e-commerce, this mega trend that we've talked about in this growing percentage every year that's going to third-party sellers. And the ability, it's just the best ability to build a brand. So how does this work exactly? All right, so this is where the massive opportunity comes. So most people will look right here, okay, and they'll say, wow, this is a $10 million a year opportunity, and this is one product. And then they'll kind of go in and say, wow, if I could just have that little bit right there, that green part, then I would be happy. And that was the beginning part of it, but that's not the way we go anymore. Now we say, wow, look at this whole market here. Okay, there's one product there, but what about this? Where is that in-between space where nobody is building anything like that? You know, I see all this green demand here, or people have these different desires, and could I fill these? You know, could I choose one there, and could I choose one there, and maybe I could even steal a little bit of that because mine is a better opportunity, and it actually, you know, for this part of the market right there, it's better than that one. That's what we're going after, and the model that I preach is a sustainable business model. Okay, a majority of the work goes into actually getting the idea. So I just want to show you what happens after you get the idea in the market, okay? What you do is we go over to this thing called Alibaba. It's essentially the search engine for factories. We talked about how Amazon is the Google for products. This is the Google for factories. They list products just like on Amazon, but when you go there, essentially it represents that they make that product. And then you talk and you find ones that are pretty good to deal with and they're good business people and they have good products. You get a sample. And then if you like their sample, then you see if they can change the product by, it's not like you have to go and physically change it. You just ask, can you do what you want? And how do you do that? You do what I just did here. You draw a picture and you describe it. Okay, so you just say like, hey, we want flamingos on this or whatever, okay? And that's it. And they'll say, yes, we could do it, or yes, not. You go back and forth with some designs, and then they'll be like, okay, we could do this. Great. So then it's like, yeah, we can do this for you, and you want this, you have a good idea, and then you pay them, and then this is what happens. So we're at that factory, they make the products, okay? Then, now here's the confusing part. It's like, how do you get it to Amazon? Okay, well, it's actually pretty easier. There's this amazing person in the world called a freight forwarder. And basically what he does is you go to him and you say, hey, I got this stuff in China and I want to bring it over to the Amazon warehouses. So he figures out how to get it all the way to the dock, all the way onto the ship, and then he figures out how to get it to the other dock and then brings it all the way to the Amazon warehouse for you. Then people go to Amazon. People go on to Amazon and they look up words, as we talked about. And then when they find out the words that you use to describe your product, while it's in the sea, so one other thing I forgot to mention, while it's in the sea, you're getting the listing made. Okay, you put in the right words and pictures. But how do you get good pictures? Well, there's people that will take pictures for you. And I'll teach you how to get good pictures. So that's it. You make good pictures, you write good words. You changed and made a pretty good product. Somebody else did the product for you. Somebody shipped it there for you. Amazon brings you the customers when you have the right words. And then if you have good pictures and good words, people buy it. And then they start to show you more. If you're not showing up for a word, you can just buy ads on Amazon. But it's not as hard as you think. It's not like this complicated thing. You literally just say, I want to show for, you just pay for traffic on that word. So you show right up at the top of the Amazon search bar for whatever words you want. It's not complicated at all. You just find the right words and you learn over time what words sell and what words don't. And then this is it. And then somebody buys it through your word, okay? Jim in Iowa has bought your headphones or flamingo, whatever you made, okay? And then Amazon will send it to Jim. And then it says, wow, Jim bought it through that word. we should show that again. And that's how the process works. Then eventually over time, you're showing on the top because whenever Jim types in that word, you are the best showing one. All right, at the end of the day, it all comes down to having a good idea. Now, how do we find good opportunities and have good ideas? Well, it all comes down to data. So there's these wonderful things out there called product research tools. What they do is they are going to recategorize the Amazon database and give us all the info that we need, such as sales and historical trends and basically everything that we need to analyze all in one easy to use interface. And the ones that I suggest are Helium 10 and ViralLaunch. And ViralLaunch is the one that I suggest for the beginners because they're kind of like the Apple of product research tools. They're going to give you ideas and give you data so that you can find the good ideas. So I'm going to show you guys how to use that in the next chapter.